how do you actually not fuck up your relationship? All right. If you're in a relationship right now, or about to be, or want to be in a relationship, keep watching. If you're in an early, if you're in an first relationship, second relationship, very early on in your dating life, this is for you. Okay. I'll tell you how to not fuck up, because there is something I did which I wasn't aware of. Okay, it was because I was inexperienced and naive. But now I know something that is so goddamn important and nobody talks about. Or they do. Dating coaches talk about it, but you don't quite understand it. They call it frame. Alright? Keeping the frame, keeping the frame. I've watched countless videos on dating. They always talked about frame, keeping the frame. And I was like, yeah, makes sense a little bit. But in other words, what that means is power. Everything is about power. Everything. If you're naive, uh, and you just want to fall in love, you just want to be in a relationship. Not anything like fantasies, not any like adult fantasies, dominance, submission, not any of that shit. You just want a normal relationship. I totally get it. I want to. Fortunately, it's still about power. You're going to realize it when you go into a relationship thinking it's just, a normal relationship, you love each other, and that's just it. No, it's about power. It's always about power. Okay? Why? Well, I started to think about it, why it happens. It's because we are animals. Like, we humans are animals that have evolved. And it's so prominent in the animal kingdom, dominance and submission. There's an alpha, there's betas, there are people trying to jump on that hierarchy of the leader, trying to, assert dominance. And it's the same with humans, but we don't do it in a violent, physical way. Maybe we did it like in a stone age or something, but now we have evolved. Now dominance could be physical. I mean, obviously could be. But mostly dominance is verbal and non-physical, so emotional, right? What does that mean? Well, power. You must have power. You must always be in the winning position if you want to win. Okay? And what does winning mean in a relationship? Well, winning in a relationship essentially is having a healthy and stable, loving relationship. That means you're winning, right? You're winning in the relationship is when you have a good relationship. So here's the deal: you must always focus on being in control, being in power, holding the frame always. Because girls, there are some of these beautiful girls who just doesn't give a shit. Okay, they just are dominating. They are crazy. They do all of these things, right? They shit test you. They are being mean to see your reaction. They test you. They test you. They test you. These are generally these more uh, more beautiful girls because they have so much attention. They get away with so much that they literally just do it, right? But then you have the more feminine ones who are not that dominating, but yet all girls are the same. I thought that my ex was different. No, she's not. Like, every fucking girl is the same. It applies the same, but I thought she was different because she was sweet, she was gentle, she was beautiful, she was an angel, right? Innocent angel. Not that innocent, bro. It's just an act because those type of girls, like I said, there are two of them: the dominating one and the more feminine one. The feminine one, the way she plays you is through making you fall in love, making you fall for her, and making you weak, making you soft. A man that's in love is soft, is loving, and there's no leadership, there's no strength, there's no power. She has the power over you. She has total power over you. That is simply it. She has total power over you, and she does it through controlling your emotions, through love, right? So it's kind of like emotional manipulation. Um, but don't be mad, okay? She's just testing you. This is normal. You just have to show, like, put her in a place. This is something I didn't know, and you have to do. You have to put her in a place. Like, if you want to have a good relationship, you gotta put her in her place. This is normal. This is like in Animal Kingdom too. Two animals, they are fucking animals. Okay, they're crazy. They go each other. They first time they meet, they go crazy. They bark at each other. For example, dogs, they bark at each other. They go crazy. They fucking like do all kinds of shit, right? And then they bite each other. They go through violence until they resolve peace. Why? Because they resolve, like, they start to respect their boundaries and they start to know where the boundaries are, right? So now they know how to behave around each other. They start to respect each other. More dominant ones are going to be more uh, like testing your boundaries to see how much control they have over you, how much they can get away with, right? The more submissive ones, they won't resist. They will let you control. They will not put up a fight, and they will get disrespected. What happens when a man falls in love? He becomes soft, gentle, and he gets like he's like, oh, you can get away with this. And small things that they do, and they get away with so much, like literally. Small things. It adds up. It adds up. Pushing the limit, and they won't stop until you put them in their place. And even though they will, so it's a constant uh, strive for power. Like men want peace. Yeah, sure. If you find yourself like a really a really submissive girl, yes. If but here's the deal. Even the most submissive girls, there's a thing, right? You could have the most submissive girl, but if you don't know how to hold the frame, if you are submissive yourself, or if you don't know how to demand power and respect, you're literally going to be challenged. Because everybody, this is human nature, you got to understand it. Everybody, when they see weakness, when they see something they can do more, right? You allow room for manipulation. You allow room for someone to take charge. You allow room for disrespect. Okay? So it's a spectrum. There's no such thing as normal stuff. There's always going to be, like, even in a 50-50 relationship, people talk about this. It's not possible. There's always going to be one that's more of a leader and more of a follower that listens to the other person. It's not going to be like 50-50 always. If it happens, then it's fucking like rare. Okay, it's always going to be someone who's more wanting to be the leader and more wanting to be a follower. Always, it could be just a little difference. Sometimes you have extremes when someone is just fucking a control freak and it's like all the way up there. Whatever I say goes, and fuck off. You know. So you have different levels to this. It's a spectrum, and I believe that this sort of stuff is something that you constantly keep in mind. And depending on what type of girl you get, uh, like you have to adjust to your preference, right? So, for example, a very beautiful girl, or could be an ugly girl who's narcissistic, both are so dominating, so uh, have a thirst for power, control, and being in charge, that you literally have to be a step above them. So if you cannot match their intensity of domination, and their like, you cannot stay in charge, you cannot stay the man, you cannot be in like, you cannot have that position as a leader and expect to be respected. Okay, so it's essentially gonna be very toxic, Okay, especially with the very dominating women because they won't give up. They're stubborn, and like you're just gonna have a very huge problem. It's like very hard to do. Okay. Uh, so if you are not like this overbearingly dominant person, okay, overly confident, overly dominating, then don't go for these girls. What you should do, however, is find a girl that's lower than you. She has to be below you in the sort of dominance submission spectrum, or in general, power has to be below you. If you want to lead, some guys are okay with a girl being completely in charge, doing everything. But from my experience, it comes with disrespect. It comes with just like, okay, here's the deal. There are some guys who like to be disrespected, and that is just like, I won't even talk about how ridiculous that is. You do you. Just talking about the guys who are not into that. I know. I've been speaking to some woman. Here's the deal. Like I can tell you, there was one woman I was speaking to about 1.5 years ago. She she actually brought up the idea of these dynamics in like adult uh, intercourse, trying to not get banned from YouTube, family friendly. So in this adult topics, they tried to. She showed me that, and she asked me if I was into like uh, humiliation, like weird shit. I was like, fuck no. Like of course, I don't like when being disrespected. And then like, we kept on talking, and she told me like all of the guys. She showed me the chats of the guys who literally, like, what the fuck? She was disrespecting them, and then she was showing the group chats to all of her girlfriends. And she showed it to me. It was crazy. Anyways, that was the short story. Here's what you should do. There's this spectrum, right? So she has to be below you, a little bit below you. That means that you gotta keep the frame and gotta keep the power, gotta keep the dominance a step above her at all times. Okay, you cannot let her overbear you. You cannot do that because then it's just gonna create problems. No, like you gotta be like stone hard on this. Like nothing goes. Like you are in charge. Okay, um, this is how you win. This is how you win, and this is how you keep her below you. Okay, and the idea sounds bad, but her desire literally wants it. Her body wants it. This is why she cannot be with a man who she doesn't respect. Okay, so you gotta be above her. You gotta. I mean, there's no fucking other possibility, and this is hard, especially when men fall in love. We become soft. They make us very soft, and this makes us susceptible to disrespect and to like pushing the limits. But when you sense that, oh, she's like becoming a little bit more in charge, she's pushing her stuff on me a little bit. No, you don't allow it, and you overpower. Okay, you don't allow yourself to do that. Now, being vulnerable is amazing. Falling in love is amazing. I'm not telling you that you can't fall in love. There are some men who say that you cannot show emotions, you cannot fall in love. Bullshit, you can. Love is amazing. You just gotta fucking regulate the amount of your frame that you have at all times. I thought this was only true when, going on dates and trying to get a girl, but it turns out when you have a girl or a wife, it's the same thing. Like, a leader is always the leader. And if you are a leader when you date and then you fucking become soft when you uh, are in a relationship or in a marriage, then you're like, obviously she's gonna overpower that. She's gonna have a thirst for domination, for taking charge. Uh, and it's simply because you've fallen in love, you've become soft, right? So if you cannot control your emotions, sure, don't show emotions. But you got to be able to say what goes. You got to be able to be assertive, and in every sign of disrespect, be assertive, like immediately when it happens. And this also has to do with one major thing, which is why there's so many weak men and so many simps out there. You, as a man, gotta have the ability to walk away from any given situation. That means, imagine you have a girlfriend, everything is loving and amazing. You gotta have the ability to say, I'm, I'm done. At any given moment. I know it's hard. I mean, it's fucking painful, yes, but it's not like it's heartbreak, yes, but you gotta have the ability to like, no. When you do that, what begins to happen is you signal to her that this guy is not afraid to leave, but she becomes afraid of you leaving. So she feels like she can lose you, that's when she begins chasing you. She puts in more effort, right? Why do men start putting in so much fucking effort? Well, it's because of insecurity, because they don't want to lose her, and it just creates the opposite effect because girls don't like when stuff like that happens. Basically, it's like girls don't like when you put in so much effort because it's too pushy, it's too clingy, it's too affectionate, and it's too like, ugh, they don't like it. What they do like, however, it's not like they don't like when a man loves them, of course not, but it's like, it's too much. So it cannot be 50-50. There's a difference between men and women. Men like that, okay? Men like when a girl is like clingy, although it can get too much. Like my ex, for example, it was getting a bit too much, but still, I did like it. You know, um, you got to be able to like. This is the difference. For example, let's do jealousy. Let's talk about jealousy. When a girl that you're with sees that you are surrounded by other girls, what that's gonna do is it's gonna make her attracted to you more. Okay, I've experienced this. I've literally started talking with every girl in my work. Okay, my previous work that I had in my job, and suddenly, like, girls were fucking attracted to me because I was only talking to girls. Like, I made it from day one to only make girlfriends. It is a superpower. It is a fucking superpower. Now, if you're in a relationship, she's gonna be so attracted to you. She's gonna be so fucking attracted to you if you have many girlfriends, friends, not girlfriends, friends, girls as friends, right? So that's something that you want to do. Uh, the reverse is true. What happens when a girl has a lot of guy friends? That's when men lose attraction. Okay, we don't suddenly like her more. No, we just like, that's disgusting. It just creates this sort of turn off, and we just feel disgusted, and we lose attraction. We just don't want her anymore. We don't want to pursue her. We lose interest. That's what happens to all of men. If any girl is watching, this is exactly how every guy reacts. This is why he doesn't want you to have any guy friends. And of course, if somebody says, "Oh, I trust you," all this, sure. Like, for example, I don't want to get into much detail, but I trust. Okay, I do trust a lot until I am giving a reason not to trust. So that's all I can say. Um, it's pretty simple. Like, you wouldn't trust anyone who's done you wrong, right? Um, so that's that. It's a major difference. Major difference in attraction. Major difference in how to be. In a relationship, you gotta be the man. You gotta be the man. Society has literally made it the opposite. They're making men weak. But we gotta be strong as men. We gotta be dominant. We gotta learn how to control and lead. Now, being in control doesn't mean controlling. When girls hear control, they freak out. They're like, no, you can't control me. That's insecure. That's blah blah. No, listen. Here's the thing. Being in control, being a leader, means that you're willingly listening and taking on his lead. It doesn't mean that he's forcing you to do something. Okay, you gotta willingly do it. That's leading. Every girl wants to be led. Every girl wants to be led, unless she's super dominant, super like masculine and stuff like that. Yes, then she doesn't want to be led. She wants to lead a guy. Okay, but we're talking about from my perspective and my preference, and most guys' perspective, that they want to lead a girl and lead the relationship because they want to feel like the man in a relationship. It's pretty simple. Like, she makes the guy feel like a man. In return, he makes her feel like a lady. Okay? There's no games. It's just like the way it is. He's a gentleman, but she follows. She listens. Right? That's an ideal relationship. Now, of course, there's going to be defending girls. There's going to be a guy who has a very obedient, very submissive girl, and he treats her like shit and cheats and all of that because he's a fucking dickhead. And there's going to be women who get a very nice guy who is a gentleman, but they cheat behind his back and they are overly dominant and fucking horrible and disgusting. Yes. Okay? So those scenarios are actually valid. Those scenarios are real. But what I'm talking about is that you have to learn to prioritize your needs. Okay? If you have a need to be in charge as a man because you want to feel like a man, then that's the kind of counter opposite that you're looking for in a woman. You're looking for a submissive girl. And it's hard because feminism is making girls strong and intimate, strong and independent, because they tell them that they don't need a man. Okay? Which is horrible advice, because genuinely you need a man. You need a partner. If you want to be single the whole life, sure, be alone. But if you don't need someone, it's like, imagine that you have a partner. Or no, let's imagine your mother or your father, for example. They say to you, they don't need you. How does that make you feel? They choose to be with you, but they don't need you. Is that love? Is that love? Just saying. I want somebody who's dependent. Dependent on me. I'm dependent on her. And we fight together. We love each other. We don't want to lose each other. We're crazy in love. And that's love. That's romance. But social media and this new generation is killing it. Okay? But it starts with you. If you want to bring back this sort of 90s love, I mean, you just got to be true to yourself and not give in into the toxicity. I could be a fucking horrible person and like go out there, do one night stand, treat girls like shit, and they like I believe in God. I don't believe in such fucking disgusting behavior because it feels wrong within my soul. Okay, I have some fucking morals and integrity. I don't do that. So you gotta be a man. Be a man. When you meet a girl, you bring stuff to the table, right? Be the man. Pay for the date. Be the man, right? See if she gives back. This is the problem with these new generation women. They expect to be given stuff and with no effort, right? So it takes two people for a healthy relationship. And men, weak men, don't understand respect. They don't understand that they have to stop the disrespect and leave. This is why I say that men must have the ability to leave. Otherwise, they're being disrespected and they're missing out on a girl that's somewhere who could literally be his dream girl, but yet he stays because he doesn't want to be alone, because he's insecure, because whatever, right? So that's all I wanted to say. And to keep a girl, again, the general meaning of this video, or the reason for this video, you keep a girl by holding the frame, or holding the power, being in control. Disrespect, you need to address it instantly. Boom. But here's the deal. I want to tell you quickly how to, this is very important because a girl can leave you over this. How do you handle disrespect? How do you handle dominance? Confidently, calmly, through communication. Alright? That's how you put her in her place, assertively. Confidently, assertively, and you communicate respectfully. Okay? This is the only way, because if you get disrespected and then you start acting emotionally and you just lash out at her, start screaming, cursing, whatever, going emotional, then what you're doing is you're going into your feminine energy and you're reacting emotionally. You can't fight. You can't argue. Arguing is for weak men. Arguing is essentially tapping into your feminine energy, emotion, right? So you have two feminine people now, a girl and a man, constantly going in each other's throat. Do you think she's going to respect you? Do you think she's going to love you? Hell no. To demand respect, you state the facts. If she doesn't comply, you leave. Okay? This is why you should set the bars pretty early on in a relationship to say how it is. Because if you get into a relationship and it starts getting bad within like 6 months to a year, and then you state all of your boundaries, then you're going to be fucked up, because now you've already caught feelings, you're going to go through heartbreak, and it's just going to be harder. The sooner the better. That's the only way. And if you want to, I feel like I said enough. I feel like I said everything that needs to be said. I'm about to go to the store right now and actually get a book on self-improvement. I bought 2 books. One is Never Split the Difference, which is about negotiating, about the business. The other one is The Way of the Superior Man, which I am kind of excited to see. I have a lot of self-improvement books back here that I bought. Just went on a self-improvement streak. Let me show you. So we have this, The Art of Seduction. Quick thing. This one I haven't opened. How to Win Friends and Influence People. 38 Laws of Power, currently reading. The Art of War, Sun Tzu. The Secret, I've read it before. This is a book about the law of attraction. I've read it many, many years ago on like computer audio thing, right? The Secret Law of Attraction. This is a book that I'm also currently reading. It's called The Taboo Against Knowing the book on the taboo against knowing who you are. Alan Watts. This is about spirituality and your spiritual nature. Okay? Enlightenment. So all of these self-improvement books, about to get 2 more. And yes, stay strong, keep going, guys. Keep pushing to become your greatest version. Remember that you have to push on all the fronts for you to actually see results in your life. It's not just about pushing on a couple of things. You must push up all the fronts, okay? Mind, body, spirit, career, social. You do that, push on everything, you're going to see major results, because now you're attacking life. You become the attacker. You become a dominant force in the universe who will make everything comply within your power, right? So everything is about power. Even manifestation and the law of attraction is about power and dominance. Everything is about power, right? The stronger force in the universe you are, the more you will get out of life. So you need to build that strength, build that power as a man, okay? That was it. You can check out my free meal plan and free workout plan and free self-improvement plans. I think I have a 100-day no-fab guide, how I got to 100 days of no-fab guide, down in the description, in the free community. Check it out, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.